and has been a personal trainer for various eminent personalities as well. I welcome you once again, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Sir for his remarks. Sir?
Yeah.
Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
या था दोबारा वहाँ बार बार म्यूट अगेन नो बार बार वहाँ म्यूट हो रहा है.
It is fine, sir.
Today's esteemed speaker and my very good young friend, Dr. Himanshu, and my colleagues in the institute, Dr. Vandana, and faculty members who are joining this webinar always through various social media platforms, students of the institute and yoga enthusiasts joining this webinar through various social media platforms of the institute across the globe. My pranams to you all. Namaskar. At the outset, I am very happy that this 5-day webinar series is gaining importance and attracting many knowledge seekers joining it today or after 1 or 2 days of this, because we are hosting it on YouTube, social medias of MD and IY. And there are more than 3,000 to 40,000 viewers sometimes, depends upon the topic and the speaker. And this series, I am today really happy to invite and also say a few words about Dr. Himanshu. And I am so happy to see his growth. He was working with us long back for some time and did a very commendable job. And he's very sincere, hardworking, and very humble. The yogic nature, I found him. That's why he's very dear to my heart. Today, it's a privilege to invite him as one of the eminent speaker, because this platform has been saved by very, very great people, including Professor Venugopal and Padma awardees. So I do hope that Himanshu will grow to the newer heights in his professional life and serve for Naturopathy and yoga community for a long time. So today, on the eve of, next week, we are going to celebrate Naturopathy Day, Prakratik Chikitsa Divas, which has been declared by Government of India. So now, worldwide, nationwide, this day is being celebrated and bringing about the awareness about naturopathy and different treatment methods, where yoga is a very important and integral component of naturopathy. That's why there is a close relationship between naturopathy, yoga, and Ayurveda, because these are the Indian systems, prime Indian systems of therapy. Now, many people, I want to highlight 3 important things. For the students of yoga and for the general public, and the third one is for the professionals. First of all, for the students of yoga, why we need the knowledge and also the practice of naturopathy or even some Swasthagruta principles of Ayurveda. Because from the ancient time, the outcome, that means what we want to deliver, the receiver comes here for the health solutions. So modern medicine has hardly 200 years of history. But our ancient naturopathy has also have a vast history. So ancient traditional system of medicine has a history of nearly pretty history of more than 3,000 years, where yoga is an integral part. Sometimes we use it for only dhyana or spiritual sadhana. Sometimes we use it for health promotion. And in Tantra and many practices are being used for management of various disorders in analyzing and bringing the mathematical formulas. Many people are not aware of it. In that case, whenever we talk about body, this body is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas and five elements, what we called, and naturopathy has a very elaborate description to how to manage with these five therapy: Akasha, Prithvi, Jala, Agni, Vayu. These are the five fundamental principles the body is made up of. Therefore, whenever we treat this body, the naturopathy principles are essential to be followed. Therefore, always in our 3 months course or 1 year course or 3 years course, we compulsorily teach the fundamentals of naturopathy so that we can integrate or we can refer for further treatments to uh, naturopaths who are very specialized. Why I'm telling you now, all these things, suppose if you go to the dentist, the specialization has grown. Earlier, only one doctor was seeing everything. Now we have a dental. Then for each dental end, there is a specialist. For the upper jaws or lower jaws or something. Same thing for the eye, ophthalmic surgeries. So medical science is growing. Now we have a specializations. Like this, naturopathy is also coming up with a specialized hydrotherapy, mud therapy, and further many therapies. It's very vast and dynamic. Therefore, the students of yoga should understand the fundamentals and incorporate, though they are learning only training program also we teach. That's why today lecture is very important. Second one is for the general public, the food is an essential component. So naturopathy means always people say fasting. Fasting is one kind of therapy, but there is a diet therapy. There are dietary advisory therapy, but there is a diet therapy, fasting therapy, which plays an important role in the management of many metabolic disorders. Naturopathy is very effective, including myself. Not only we regard, we practice them. So especially detoxification, and at least 3 months or 6 months, I used to go for 2 days, 3 days naturopathy hospitals. Get myself detoxifies, get this massage or mud therapy or the steaming or all these things, so that there is a detoxification and regeneration, which is very simple, which is not possible in the modern medical system. Therefore, common people, especially dietary advisories, fasting therapy, diet therapy, hydrotherapy, mud therapies are very, very simple. They can, once they learn, they can do them at home also. So therefore, I advise always the general public or professionals, this lecture is important. Third one is professionals, yoga professionals, and both naturopathy and yoga professionals. For them, there is no end. Once we do the degree of 5.5 hours, So you even we did masters and PhD. These are all the elementary, but once you go to the specialization, so always the enhancement of knowledge. Suppose yoga can be a specialized subject. Next, in my institution, I am taking masters in only meditation, masters in only yogasana. I devised a master course only for the pranayama and its various applications. So tomorrow, such type of specializations are coming up. So because there's a vast scope for development of these two systems. Therefore, the professionals should be unbiased. Now in the new education policy and the 2020, there is a lot of openness is there, which we are thinking 10 years before. Now it's going to be realized. Therefore, the professionals, both yoga, naturopathy, even Ayurveda, it's not the day to talk about. We should be very open-minded because we have to deliver at the end. Therefore, the simple naturopathy, including yoga, now I'm happy there are more than 40 more colleges where they admit the students at 10+2 science graduates with biology background. A huge number of graduates are coming up. If they trained up well in yoga, if 5 years, now 3 years degree and 2 years master degree in yoga in our institute and many organizations, if they give a very sound knowledge of at least basic naturopathy treatment methods, so they will become successful in their professional life. So ultimately, I want to become a successful therapist or consultant. Therefore, these three aspects today I would like to highlight on the eve of Naturopathy Day on 18th. And also, I do hope that we, Himanshu, me, and Dr. Geeta, and others, my friends, are all thinking in the same line. Our thinking wavelength is the same. We are not at all biased. Some people may be. But we are thinking about the general public. What they want? They want the relief from the pain or the disease or the illness. So whatever the knowledge we have, then there is a scope for specialization. So today we shall not confine to only one. In my institution, next 3-4 years, I am coming up with 7-8 specializations in yoga. So such a vast scope is there in the new education policy, and we can make use of all the dimensions. And with these few opening remarks, so the naturopathy philosophy and principles are very appropriate for yoga people and all the general public. So I am eager to listen to Himanshu. He is a very systematized practitioner of not only practitioner means in yoga we said we practice it. We not only teach or give therapy. He practiced naturopathy yoga as a part of his life. So that's why his wisdom, his experience as a practitioner is more important. His wisdom today definitely is going to enrich the knowledge of our listeners and viewers. So once again, thank you very much, Himanshu, for accepting our invitation and be present with us. I welcome you again on behalf of the
Thank you, sir.
institute and my own behalf. I request you to please start your lecture, the topic,
Sure.
health through naturopathy. Dr. Himanshu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me opportunity for inviting me and taking a lecture. So today I'll just share my PPT. Actually, what we say is naturopathy and yoga because I've worked in Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga where I was yoga consultant and then being a BNYS doctor, we practice. And I feel that yoga and naturopathy are two wheels of a cart which cannot be separated. And it is very much, there are different views where they just, they have same philosophies like holism, vitality, which is prana. And this is how. And just I'm going to give a brief about what is nature cure. So um, basically, according to Dr. Henry Lindlar, because it is a very old science which started off in India around thousands of years ago, and again, after the new science, being the new research going on, so it started off. It got a push from the Western world. There in Europe and America, people were more inclined, and they were not knowing about what is actually naturopathy, and this combined or compiled all the drugless systems which together forms and which together help the body to heal. Even as old as Hippocrates, the father of medicine, who all the doctors, allopaths, they take a Hippocratic oath. Even he was considered to be one of the oldest naturopaths, who said that give the body opportunity to heal and body will heal. So Henry Lillar, he defined nature cure as a system of building the entire being in harmony with the constructive principles in nature. So what is there in nature? It is all the Panch Mahabhutas, that is sun is there. So what is nature? Nature comprises of sun, water, air, okay, and then fire. All these five elements, Panch Mahabhutas, they comprise of nature. So what happens here is, so they combined all these, and he said that these five elements, the nature helps to heal the physical, mental, moral, and spiritual planes of being. Planes in the sense, it is all the dimensions of the being. So it is not only the physical body, the mental body, or the moral, that is moral conduct we have, or the spiritual aspect. It is everything the nature helps to heal. So same thing, even the yoga has the same thing. So this was given in 1913 by Dr. Henry Lindlar, and it has been long said in yoga. So I feel that yoga and nature cure are two wheels of a cart, so they cannot be separated. So nature cure is that, and in same thing was said in the recent in World Naturopathic Federation in 2017, which is present in almost having around 70 countries. So which says that naturopathy, or the term coined nature cure or naturopathic medicine, is a distinct system of primary health care. It is an art in the sense the way of practice. So because as the yoga says, each soul is potentially divine, or each soul is genetically having a separate, you can say, composition. So similar thing is with the naturopathy. It says that a human being, each human being is separate, so it has to be practiced. Each genotype is different, so genetic material is different. So what happens here, the practitioner of naturopathy should practice the science, the philosophy, keeping in mind how to diagnose, and it is an art. So one treatment may work for one person, it may not be exactly similar, giving the exactly same kind of result, but in the same proportion, percentage. So it is an art, science, and philosophy and practice of diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of illness using naturopathy philosophies and principles. So it is just not the treating a person as a whole, the physical body. It is, again, it says that it has to be this, it is science, it is philosophy which has to be lived. Just like yoga was not meant to be treating the diseases, it was a lifestyle. It was a way of living. It was an art of living, which was like, you can say, a person who lives yoga will not fall ill. So usually what happens in the medical science, we always talk about disease, how to treat this disease, how to treat B disease, how to treat another disease, but we never talk of how to stay healthy. Just after the COVID-19, people have started thinking about talking about immunity and health rather than earlier. Whenever when as a doctor, patient comes to us, they say how to get cured of disease, what to do about this disease. When the person is healthy, they never think about health. So they will, how to stay healthy, that is the most important question that should be asked. So what is health? According to WHO in 1948, it defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely absence of disease or infirmity. This definition was like, it's like working on the same physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely absence of disease. Was like in a medical allopathic science, they say that disease is caused due to germs, and later on, slowly, gradually, they came to know that okay, it's not only the germs; it is again the psychosomatic aspect, that is psychological part is also important, which causes the changes in the hormones or some chemicals, and which manifests into a physical form, disease into a physical form. So this definition was amplified to include the ability to lead a social and economically productive life. So when the person is maybe free from physical disease, but mentally or at the psych level, whether the person is healthy or not, socially the person is interacting with the people around, how the person is. There has been incidences in Western world where the people are doing shooting out, and they were physically fit but mentally or socially they were not fit. So it says that whenever WHO considers a person to be healthy when the person is socially and economically productive. So when it is about a person is healthy, they should be working and contributing even to the growth of the nation. So when our honorable prime minister says that 140 crore people are there. So out of 140 crore, everybody should be contributing to the growth of the country. So it is not only the physical, it is the mental, social well-being. When the person stays healthy, they will work, they will be productive, and they will contribute to the society and to the nation. So WHO says that physical, mental, and social well-being. And this was given way back. A naturopath, Dr. Henry Lindlar in America, he gave it long way back in 1913, the same thing. The health is a normal and harmonious vibration of the elements and forces composing the human entity on physical, mental, moral, and spiritual planes of the being, in conformity with the constructive principles of nature applied to the individual life. Constructive principles are those principles which always leads to evolution, which always leads to add up. It does not put the health down. It always improves the health, improves the vitality when they're applied to the individual life at physical, mental, moral, and spiritual beings, planes of being. So this was like, naturopaths, they were quite aware. And I have to say that same thing was done with yoga when they say that all the five panchakoshas, okay, all the five levels have to be dealt, then only the disease will not come. So here there is a lot of similarity between like yoga and naturopathy. So these two things have to go together. So in a broad sense, when health is seen as a condition, can be seen as a condition or quality of human being, like you can say that it is a quality of human organism expressing the adequate functioning of the organism. When we go for when we feel diseased or when we go for any lab test, what happens? We always go for liver function test, kidney function test, blood test. So what we get? We get some parameters, some reading in it. And when we find that those readings abnormal, we say that some sort of disease is there. So this is the broad sense that a condition or quality human being organism is expressing adequate functioning. When the readings are in normal limit, we say that everything is fine. But it is on the report wise, I should say that they are fine. But person may feel something wrong in itself. Like, when we at times we are quite hale and hearty and we feel that something is wrong. So it is something is wrong, definitely something somewhere at some plane, not on the physical plane, but maybe at the mental plane or emotional plane, or you can say moral plane. Something is wrong, which is definitely bother, and person realizes this thing. Okay, and because of that, it may be not be reflecting in the reports what the person goes for, lab tests and all. So it may be due to environment. Sometimes the environment is quite dull, quite gloomy, we say. The environment is gloomy. Definitely because of the rainy season or something, that environment will be gloomy, but it has an impact on the human psyche. Okay, sometimes when the Sunday comes, taking an example, when Sunday comes, people feel that, yes, it's a holiday. Automatically, the joy will come. And when it comes to Monday, 9 o'clock, office, somebody is going to office, then they will say that, okay, I have to rush. So it is just kind of that thing which makes a person feel. that whether the person is working fine or wrong, something is wrong. So it is the adequate functioning of the organism in the given condition, whether it is genetic environment or the environmental condition outside what is there. So at times when we say that we suffer from this disease, usually we blame it that family history is positive. So I always say that there is always two aspects, genotype and phenotype. So genotype is not, some genes are dominant, some genes are recessive. And when we give the opportunity or the environment we stay in, the interaction of those will be responsible for occurrence of a disease. So there is family history becomes positive only when the genes are given chance to get dominant or expression. So in the narrow sense, health is not just evidence of disease. It is a person is functioning normally. At times, person maybe the reports may be abnormal, but person feels that quite energetic and healthy. So they feel that okay, they can do the task. So again, it is the subjective aspect also is involved in it. So several organs, when we say about homeostasis and all, we know that different organ systems are there in a very human body, like respiratory system, cardiovascular system, digestive system. So they all work in synchrony with each other, and they have a relationship with each other. Like, what happens when we feel we have less oxygen, automatically the heart rate increases. That is a synchrony. Okay, so with this implies that whenever all the systems will work, when all the systems will work, the health will be at the optimum. So to be staying healthy or to stay healthy, all the systems should work in harmony or in equilibrium or homeostasis should be maintained. So that is health. There are different dimensions of like the different philosophies have been added into the health aspect. Like we like government, we know that health is a fundamental right. WHS talk a lot about like essence of productive life, and health is intersectoral. So it is not only the healthcare industry which is responsible for giving health. It is the food we take in, the environment we live in, the education level we have, the house we live in, the income we get, education level of a person. So it is intersectoral. It depends on the different aspects which I will be dealing in later part of the presentation. So health is an integral part of development also. So as I said that when the person is healthy, they will be productive and they will be working. So when they will be working, definitely they will be contributing or they will be earning something which is definitely related to the GDP, or you can say per capita income. So it is an integral part of development. So health is central to the concept of quality of life also. So when we say what is quality of life, we have everything. We have good money, we have everything, but if you are not healthy, we will not be able to enjoy that also. So in yoga, we say that to for bhoga also you need health. Okay, so it is always that the quality of life depends a lot on the health. So health involves the individual's state and international responsibility. As we say that if the individual as a person, we should realize that is our first and foremost responsibility, that if we stay healthy, definitely we can talk of a state or a country or whole world. So when as a state we talk that it is not only from starts from the health. Begins from the individual initiatives. Then the government and then the international agencies like WHO and all, they will come into the play, and they will there to facilitate the healthcare or to improve the healthcare of a person. But it has to start what to eat, what not to eat, what to avoid. All these things should be is considered before getting a or getting involved in the healthy matter. So health and its maintenance is a major social investment. So I have to say some people they earn a lot, and once they get as the age approaches near the retirement, definitely with the old age few diseases come. So it is one of the best investments, as I say that if the person works throughout their life and when they retire, and if they are healthy, I have to say that they have worked, they have enjoyed their work, because to stay healthy you need to enjoy your work. And when you enjoy your work, you will be productive also, you will stay healthy also, and you will be contributing with the new initiatives also. So it is one of the best social investment also. And you will be, like, you can say that there are a lot of our cricketers and sports person, they are all are icons for like young population. Why? Because they stay healthy, they stay fit, and then that is why they, even you can say take celebrities in the film industry also, they also try to maintain their fitness levels. So that is the major thing. So staying healthy is again a very good social investment. So, and WHO has said that health is a worldwide social goal, and that's why they have given social development, or you can say Millennium Development Goals, which were supposed to be attained. And they have given the, even like, they have been pushing the governments, all the WHO participating countries, they have given like social Millennium Development Goals are there, or you can say as sustainable development goals are there, including the health. So they have mentioned about that health is a very important thing for any country to grow and for the growth of a nation. So there are, as I was talking about, there are different dimensions. We have talked about physical dimension, mental, and social, but there are different dimensions of health are there. Somewhere around 12 dimensions have been mentioned, which have been, which we discuss usually. But WHO mentions in its definition of health, says that the physical, mental, and social. So these are three are very important dimensions. So whenever the person is not feeling well, so feeling is not the physical thing; it is the mental, or you can say mental dimension. So when we talk about physical health, when we have fever or cough, or you can say anything, any kind of symptom or sign of a disease, so that is being shown in the physical body, that is our gross body. So that dimension is always coming second. First thing is that on the mental or the emotional aspect, we have some problem, some issues start, and that's why our immunity level goes down, and that's after that it precipitates into the physical body. So physical dimension we will discuss that it's a physical health, which is implies the notion of perfect functioning. So as I have discussed that all the organ functions, if they are normal, all the tests for the different organ functions, like liver functions, kidney functions, respiratory functions, cardiovascular functions, and blood reports, if they're all normal, we consider a person as healthy or perfect. It conceptualizes health biologically as state in which every cell, as we know that each human being is made up of trillions of cells, living cells in synchrony with each other and bringing out the homeostasis. So it says that biologically, every cell and every organ is functioning at optimum capacity, then we consider the person as physically healthy. How the mental dimension is influencing, it is defined as state of balance between the individual and the surrounding world. So when we live as a person and we interact with our surrounding world, like environment, with the individuals around, with the animals around, with the, you can say, house, or you can say street where you live in. So with the surrounding world, if we live in harmony between oneself and others, we don't damage, or you can say we don't harm them, then we say that we are in harmony. We are coexisting between and sharing the resources with each other. So coexisting between the realities of self and that of other people and that of environment also. So when we talk about the climate change, so we are in the, there is a lot of you can say the climate is changing, environment is getting polluted. So just recently our Prime Minister attended COP26, that is a climate summit on the climate change. So when different prime ministers or different leaders of the world, they join together and talk about the climate change. So it is not because human being is somewhere interfering, somewhere it is harming the environment, and which makes the world not a better place to live. So somewhere pollution is again due to the human interventions, different industries being set up. So that is the mental dimension. So we need to think about it, how less pollution we can spread and how less we can harm the environment, or how far we can contribute to the uh, and you can say sustainable, make the environment sustainable for us to live and other animals to live around in the world. So social dimension is again the social, when we, because we know that human being is a social animal. So social animal involves, like social dimension involves interpersonal, ties in where, like how you interact with your family members, how you interact with the people around in the society, how you interact with the people from different parts of the region or different parts of the country, and how you interact with the people around the world. So it is the quantity and quality of an individual interpersonal ties and extent of involvement with the community. So how far you are giving, you know, how far you are contributing to the community, how far you are improving the involving yourself to contribute to the society. When we talk of, like, we as individual citizens of the country, we always have some, like, you can say, duties towards not only for ourselves, also towards the community and to the country. So when we talk of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, so it is our social responsibility to maintain hygiene and, you can say, cleanliness around, so that less and less disease. Like, just as case and I want to quote an example of a disease like dengue, which has been spreading very fast presently. So there have not been cases around in northern India. So where I say that it is the individual social responsibility that no water should be stagnated or should be kept open in the open area where the mosquitoes can breed. So it is a social responsibility, and when we get we you can say do our duty, the disease can be controlled. So the mosquitoes, they don't just breed in soil, it breeds in the stagnant water. So it is our responsibility to maintain the cleanliness in near the places or the environment we live in. Then again, there is a different thing, that is spiritual dimension. When we always go for whichever the religion, whichever the sect, whichever the place we live, we always have some spiritual dimension. So even the yoga says that there should be Anandamaya Kosha, that is a spiritual dimension, refers to the part of the individual which reaches out and strives for meaning and purpose in life. When we always sit together, and at least we, in the start, you can say that why we are given the human, we have taken the human birth. It is, we could have been dog or cat or any other animal. So what is the purpose? We are born with some purpose, and we should strive for some meaning in the life. So this includes integrity, principles, and ethics, the person purpose in life, commitment to some higher being. So it's like every human individual has should try to think about it and should always try to strive for the meaning or the purpose of life. There are different another dimension, that is emotional dimension, is there. So when we always I should say that whenever we feel anything, so mental dimension is about knowing and cognition, while emotional dimension, it is about feeling. So whenever what we feel, it may be, it should not, it should be such that it should be on the social dimension, or it should not be hurting the interest of some other people. So it should always spread the friendship or friendliness around, not the enmity. So the emotional dimension, you may get happiness. Um, we should realize that we should get the happiness with the feeling we have, so that we should not be hurting any other person. So even that thing, like, you may feel, you want to earn a lot, or you can say you want to stay healthy, but beating somebody or putting a loud music and then exercising or performing yoga, then it may hurt somebody else. So I should say that when we put on the loud music, so if we can do anything in quite calm and quite serene environment, we will get better, you can say, and the conditions, and you can say that even it is good for our health. So experts in psychobiology have found out the link between these two, and have been very much successful in isolating these two separate dimensions, like what is the mental aspect and the emotional aspect. Usually the people think that emotions are always on the mental plane. No, emotions are different. When we say that this is our gut feeling, or yeah, in usually the people think from the mind, and at times they take the decisions from the heart. So it is just that the gut feeling is something else and the brain activity thinking is something else. So cognition is the mental aspect and the feeling is the emotional aspect. So next is vocational dimension. It has been always, there is this dimension is very important whenever any person applies for a job, and especially when we take it as everybody in India, almost like 14 lakh people, they want to become doctors and they give the examination, and hardly out of them around 10,000 people, students, they get this. So it is a vocation. Choose the profession. There are a lot many professions which are not being they have like been unattended. So we say always say that even the defense is a very good dimension. So vocation, so what you enjoy doing, you should choose that as your vocation or a job. So when we say that, I just in the last slides I've told that, so it is a social investment. When you enjoy your work, you stay happy, and you will be on equilibrium at all the planes. Automatically the spiritual dimension will shine and help you out. So vocation is very important. When the work is fully adapted to the human goals, capacities and limitation, it plays a promoting role in physical and mental health. So when a person enjoys the work they do, they automatically feel happy, and the happy hormones like dopamine are released, and it helps to proper hormone secretion of proper hormones by all the endocrine glands. So it automatically promotes the physical and mental health. So physical work is usually associated with improvement in physical capacity, like exercise we do. Because I want to say here that yoga is not exercise, it is not just asanas, it is the all the ashtanga yoga, the all the 8 limbs. So it has to be practiced at all the 8 limbs, has to be practiced together. So physical work is usually associated with improvement in physical capacity, while when we enjoy the work, it is the mental and the spiritual, or the, you can say, emotional well-being is also improved when we enjoy our work. So this was this model of like, there are again the factors which determine the health, and this have been discussed, I have discussed before in the slides, like different dimensions are there. In 1991, Dahlgren and Whitehead, they have given a model. It says that the age, sex, and hereditary, certain diseases are common in certain age groups, certain sex, like male or females, some diseases occur more in them, and some of the diseases are hereditary. But you can't change your age, you can't change your sex, or you can't change your genes. So what to do to stay healthy? About talking about the, you can say, the no, that they are non-modifiable. We say that they are non-modifiable factors, so which cannot be changed, but they can be influenced. When the person is aging, automatically that is why we retire. There is a retiring age by the government. Why it has been there? Because it has, we know that the automatically the functions of the systems, or you can say organ systems, like brain, heart and everything, what you are at age of 20, you cannot be same at the age of 60. Definitely a mental thing can be a thing, like mentally you may be strong, but it may definitely the systems deteriorate, and some of the factors, they play an important role. So when we know we are aging, automatically we have to focus on our health, like we have to choose our lifestyle factors, like what we eat, what we do, how we work out, exercise, yoga, or you can say naturopathy. All these factors play an important role. So if somebody says that I have a hereditary factor of having diabetes in my family, so what I should do? I should stop, should control my intake of carbohydrates or sugars, and automatically I have to take care of that thing, and I should practice yoga daily. I should not take much of stress, which will contribute again to the different other reasons are responsible for causing diabetes in me. So these are the individual factors which are in our control. Then comes the social and community networks, like which social environment we stay in. If we work in a stressful environment, definitely we need to take stress for few reasons. That is something we say that stress is the required. Good stress, it is a good stress which is required. But when it is too much, then it can turn into distress and cause precipitate into different, it can hamper the mental dimension and the emotional dimension. Yeah, even the social circle. So where we live. So it's some take an example of where we live. We can't change the neighbors. If taking the case with our country, like having Pakistan and China as our neighbors. So even in the same case, in the social where we have our home, we cannot change. If we live in an environment where we have enmity with everybody, we cannot stay there. We will be tensed always. So social environment should be always congenial. It should be always friendly. And even with the community things, so community networks, people earlier they were used to like interaction with the COVID before the long before the Facebook thing coming up. It was a social media which has been playing important role, like digital social media, social networks like Facebook is there, Orkut is there, and it was like Google Meet and all. They were coming up, Instagram. So, but before long before that, people used to personally interact with each other and they used to spend time. So this again used to play an important role. Like nuclear families. Earlier they used to be joint families. So parents, grandfathers, and great grandfather even used to live, and they used to guide the younger children for how to do, what to do. They used to teach some etiquettes also, and they used to educate, and some rituals also they used to teach. So this is the importance. This was the importance of social and community networks. And then comes the food we take. What is like take the example, we should be blessed to say that we are living in a country which is India, which is agriculture. Main occupation is agriculture, and we get the things quite easily. And right from like variety of vegetables, lentils, and everything we get and grown in our country. You take the example of a Greenland where people are not able to grow anything. So we should be thankful for that. And this is responsible again for a lot of you know when as a naturopath we say, we always recommend that food shall be your medicine. So what we eat, it should be providing all the vitamins, minerals, and everything, and it should be able to keep you healthy and improve your immunity in different seasons, different regions. So even this goes with again the swasthurita, that is ritucharya. Okay, so that is there. And again, the education we have, individual have, plays a very important role. So at times, we say that a person is a doctor, then definitely that person is having good knowledge of how to stay healthy compared to a person who is just an engineer or any person who is just a 12th pass. So with the education level, so if the person is illiterate, definitely they have been taught the traditional practices to do the things. Even in the villages, when the person is illiterate, they used to always say, this has been a ritual in our community long back. It was taught to them. So that was again a sort of education. Okay. So sitting on the like Sukhasana and having the meals, that is an Indian tradition. And Japanese, they sit in, most of the times they sit in Vajrasana and then they have the meals. So this is again the educational ritual practices they have. So again, with the education thing, it plays an important role on the health. So because why it is so? Because I have to say that sorry about that. It's yes. So it says that these education thing plays an important role because level of education is related to the earning. You have good education, you earn well. When you earn well, you have good housing, good quality of life, good food, good way of earning. So all these things matter a lot. Then the work environment we live in. Compare yourself. We always say that pollution is increasing. Compare yourself a person or a labor who is working in a mining industry or a construction industry. They have been inhaling the dust throughout, or person working in a field and spraying the pesticides. If we take the example of them, definitely they are at more risk of getting a disease or lung cancer compared to the people staying in the office inside. But they have been working throughout the day in the field. So it's the physical work they have, but they have again the risk of inhaling the fumes of the pesticides. So that we should be always, again, the work environment also plays an important role. Living and working conditions, when we talked about potato couch, it was like person sitting on the sofa all the time and eating. So the person may be well off and they may be eating. So it plays a very important role, like, what our working conditions are, living conditions are. If the person is unemployed, then what will be the source of income? Even there's a lot of, in developing countries, there has been problem of water, and sanitation is a big problem. Like, recently the floods in Chennai. Just today's newspaper I was reading, it was saying that lot of canals, the drainage system is choked up by the plastic, which was dumped in those drains, or the street. On the street, the plastic was thrown on the street, and now because of the flash floods, it is causing the choking of the drains. So it is again the people social responsibility of the person. So we should think about all these things to stay healthy. Their environment keep on testing the human being, and if we stay, or you can say, we live in harmony with the constructive principles, definitely we are going to stay healthy. And if we don't live with the environment, we keep on spoiling, polluting, and we keep on consuming the denatured food, it is going to create a problem. So that is what was the factors responsible for the health. And in naturopathy, we always say that there are two philosophies which goes in hand with the what is being taught in yoga also. That is, first one is vitality, or in yoga it says that prana is the, and in Chinese they say it as chi. So prana or vitality, it is the belief that the living things depend on the action of special energy or a force that guides the process of metabolism, growth and reproduction, adaptation and interaction. So it is the prana which is responsible for the homeostasis, which is responsible for the equilibrium in amongst all the organ systems. And if that is why at times when we are not sick also, we don't have any fever or anything, but we say that we feel weak. So that time we say that prana is low. If the person eats well and assimilates, the energy is assimilated. So it is not the calories, it is the prana which plays an important role. So vital force is capable of interactions with the material matter such as person's biochemistry. And these interactions of vital force are necessary for the life to exist. So it is very much responsible for, like, prana is very much responsible for the maintenance of normal functions of the organs. And I have to say that when we lose vitality, automatically, according to naturopathy, the ill health or disease state starts to come. So usually what happens, that when this vital force is diminished, the person it is like when it's diminished because of harsh living condition or environmental condition or a mental stress, or you can say emotional, or then the vitality decreases. So how to improve, how to stay healthy? The eat healthy food. Okay. And the person should always keep on initiating regenerative capacity. So naturopathy says each individual, each person can improve their health. Just give the body a chance to heal itself. A chance, how it is given? When we eat something, automatically some metabolites are formed and they may convert into free radicals. And these free radicals, like, when we eat something fast food, or you can say junk food, or denatured food, or canned food, or preserved food, automatically what happens, some free radicals are released into our bloodstream, and these they stay inside. And these free radicals automatically try to damage the cells, and when they damage the cells, they cause harm to the organ. So definitely when it comes to the pancreatic cell, we eat too much sugar from and too much sugar is again acidic kind of. It increases the blood, decreases the pH of the blood, so it becomes more acidic, and because of that it may harm. So it's like, when we eat some fresh fruits, vegetables, less salty, less spicy, mitahar, if we eat, so automatically it has an impact on the blood pH, and it reduces. So they have, that's what we modern medical science or nutrition says, that it is antioxidant. So they neutralize these free radicals which are more cancerous. So these antioxidants are the person's responsibility what they eat. So that is the concept of vitality. Next comes the holism or holistic concept. So holism or holistic comes from a word holos, a Greek word, so which means complete, whole. So it is to consider an organism as a whole. So naturopathy says that it does not treat like heart only, or it does not treat the respiratory system only. Similar is the case with the yoga. So it treats the person as a whole. It does not treat just the respiratory. Definitely, when we take our ancient sciences to that level, like evidence-based practice, we talk about respiratory. This particular asana is good for respiratory system. This particular treatment of naturopathy is good for respiratory system, but it has an impact on different other systems also. It is not only on the respiratory system. It is beneficial. It is improving the function of the lungs, but definitely it improves the elasticity of, or you can say, blood vessels, or you can say reduce the peripheral circulation, or you can say increase the function of the alveoli, or you can say also improves the respiratory rate, strengthens the muscles. So it is not a single system. It takes both the system. Naturopathy and yoga takes whole body together, and it also takes all the planes of being, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, which is have been taught also, I have told also before. So all these components will lose their nature, function, and significance if they are taught, or you can say treated differently, because in these systems we know that they're interconnected. When we take normal physiology, all these systems work in homeostasis. Something happens to the heart, automatically something will happen to the respiratory system, automatically something will happen to the blood. So we should treat whole body as a, completely. So important characteristic of an organism do not occur at physical and chemical levels, but at higher levels where holistic integration of the system within the whole body being is there. So when we talk about endocrine glands, it's the master gland which is influencing the thyroid, which is influencing the adrenals, or which is influencing the gonads, or the, so these glands, again, they're influenced by the master gland. And when we think, and that master gland is just not the you can say voluntary in control, it is influenced by the feelings, it is influenced by the thoughts, and there the yoga works. So when sir was saying that why it is important for a yoga person to know about naturopathy. So yoga was a lifestyle, which was like, it was a lifestyle. We will never fall disease in a disease condition. Whenever we put into some bhoga, or you can say we don't follow yamas, niyamas, definitely we end up in something. And because of that, ahar, vihar, vichar, these conduct are influenced, definitely we fall sick. So naturopathy gives that thing. So it's a pathy. It is somewhere related to yoga only, and it is a pathy which is like, which is influence, taking all the panch mahabhutas together and treat, and gives the body an opportunity to clean itself, detoxify itself. And it it is very much in line with the principles of yoga. So that is what we have, like, the World Naturopathy Federation has given around 6 principles are there, and they have added the 7th principle, which is like well-being. So it says that first thing is healing power of nature, that is vis medicatrix naturae. So it says that healing power of nature is inherent. Any person, when we take an example of like when we feel sick or disease, we don't eat much. Somebody gives us something very delicious also, we will not enjoy it, we won't take it. Our, you can say, gyanendriyas, they will not give us the senses, like tongue, it will not help us to taste. Like, when COVID was there, a lot of symptoms, like, anosmia was there, like there is no sense of smell, there is no taste. So you just imagine that time people were not eating anything. They were not enjoying anything. Whatever they were eating, they were saying, whatever we are eating, we can see that this is a quite good dish, but we don't enjoy it. So, it is just our, you can say, Gyanendriyas. They are like, they sense organs. They always take us for a ride. So yoga also helps in taming that. And even the naturopathy says that stop doing that. And you can be just enjoy what is natural, where then you appreciate the inherent and self-organizing healing process of the living system, our own body. So when a person is healthy enough, no, nothing influences even that is why the immunity improves when we eat healthy food. So naturopathic medicine recognizes this healing process. So it is always the nature which has inherent in our body, and it always go for, like, improving the state. So it is naturopathic practitioner's role to support and facilitate. So naturopathic practitioner is a doctor also, and he is a teacher also. He say that don't eat this, eat only this thing. So it is the practitioner's role is to support, facilitate, and augment this process by identifying, removing, and obstacles of health and recovery. Then comes the second principle, that is identifying the treat of the causes. So, it is very important to identify the causes, what is responsible for that particular disease. You may be looking for some respiratory problem, but what is the reason behind? Maybe allergic to some pollutant, or maybe allergic to some dietary food particle, or you can say some thought process. So, even stress precipitates into asthma or something. So it's the identifying the and treat the cause. Then third thing is do no harm. That is first, do no harm. So it says that do not interfere by providing, like, we say that naturopaths, we say that the food shall be your medicine. Don't take any other medication. So when we say that we need to improve, take vitamin C, in winters it is a gooseberry, that is amla, which is very good source of vitamin C. In summers there is again, guava, amrud, we say. Again, guava is richest source of vitamin C. So even the season, each season they have different, fruits, or you can say vegetables, which are good source of vitamins and minerals, which keeps on improving the immunity. And by taking the other medications from outside, like, a lot of things, like, suppressants, like, you can say steroids, and you take different anti-allergic things, which antihistamines, which try to suppress when fever comes. In naturopathy, we say that when fever comes, try to take full wet sheet pack. So it causes sweating, and it improves the channels of, it enhances the functioning of the eliminative channels like skin, lungs, and urine. Okay. And by not taking any medication for fever like paracetamol, and all, we say that don't suppress. When we take any medication from outside, we suppress the things. So that is they say that naturopathy doctors should recommend that do not harm yourself. Then fourth one is doctor as a teacher. We are doctor as, like, naturopathy physician always teaches a patient. It does not say that when you consult a naturopathy doctor, they will never say do this, that's it. They will always say this will help you out in this manner, this food will help you out in this manner, this treatment will help you out in this manner, and try to correct your lifestyle. So they are working as a teacher. When what you're doing wrong, they identify that and try to correct the lifestyle. And that is what the fifth part is, treat the whole person. This I have discussed before also, that naturopaths, they always consider not a single organ system or a particular system. They always treat the whole person and its interaction even with the environment. The problem may come from the environment, the society we live in, or the workplace we work at, or the class or education level. So it works, or it treats try to solve the problem at that level. So, and the sixth part is prevention. It's always, naturopathy always aims at prevention. As a doctor, as a, public health specialist, we always say that prevention is always better but than cure. Has been saying that prevention is always better than cure, but as a public health specialist, I will say that prevention is even cheaper than cure. So, if you want to take a vitamin C supplement from a medical store, you need to spend at least 20-30 rupees, or even multivitamins coming from 100 rupees also. And if you take fruits and vegetables, it gives satiety also. Tablets doesn't give the satiety. So eat one fruit a day. Definitely it will help you out in supplementing vitamins and minerals. So I always say that your food should be medicine, so which helps in prevention of different diseases. So that is once again the very important aspect. So main objective of naturopathy is the body's capacity to heal itself. It helps in prevention of disease, and it is always a person's responsibility to optimize the health. We should know what we are doing. We should not cross our limit. We should not go towards the destructive principles which degrades or harm our health. So we should always try to work towards the health aspect. So there are different modalities of naturopathy are there, which when sir was talking about, we give nutritional counseling. It's like diet modification, correct the lifestyle, and then therapeutic fasting. Different fastings are there, like Ramadan fasting is also there, and even the Navratri fasting is there, and even Jain people, they do fasting. But even in naturopathy therapeutic fasting, there is the particular juices are given, so it's juice fasting, and at times it is mono diet, that is kalpa. So even to enhance, water is a solvent, and even we are made up of around 70% of water. So even hydrotherapy, they work. When you perform, it has been found out that when you perform exercise under the water, it has an effect on the buoyancy, and it improves the functioning of the different joints. So mud therapy again, to improve the digestive power, and acupuncture and acupressure are also considered to be a drugless system, and they also, on the Chinese aspect, they work on the chi or the prana or vitality, and improves the proper channelization of the prana. There are different chromotherapy and magnetotherapy modalities are there. Again, they are drugless systems, and we always recommend, we usually as a naturopath recommend that, try to eat fresh, which is easily seasonally available and regionally also available. So, if somebody is eating apple in southern part of India, so they can eat it. It is going to give that benefit, but it is not meant for that climate. So I always say that what is regionally grown, definitely that gives the immunity for that region. And even what is seasonally grown, if you want to eat mangoes now in winters in Delhi, so it may be, first of all, it contains more of preservatives. So I don't think it is going to give that benefit. So, if you take example, somebody asked me like what to do, we say that carrot is good for vitamin A and improves eyesight. We always say that even mangoes are excellent source of vitamin A, which is present in summer. So we have alternate. So in winters it is carrot, and in summers it is mango, and it is a natural thing. We don't have to take any supplements for it. So these are the things which are very much important and taught in naturopathy as a doctor when we practice it, and we guide these people. And these are the like 5 steps, which was like which helps in maintaining the health, how to stay healthy, which I was talking in the beginning of my presentation, how to stay healthy. These are the 5 easy steps which was devised by Dr. B. Venkat Rao, called as Arogya Rakshak Panchatantra. And these 5 principles are again regarding diet, water, prayer, and exercise and fasting. And any person who follows it has been proven. There has been article on the PubMed also which says that they get rid of a lot of diseases, and it has been found to be beneficial to stay healthy. That was first point of that is eat twice a day. It is 2 meals a day. So even in yoga we say that a yogi eats only once a day. So naturopaths, we say that they're like, bhogi eats 3 times a day, and sorry, rogi eats 3 times a day, and a person who is bhogi eats twice, and again I can say that yogi eats only once. So it's according to Arogya Rakshak Panchtantra, it says that eat only twice a day. So eating 2 balanced meals a day is good for health. Don't eat much. So what it should include in the meals is whole grains, nuts, seasonal fruits and vegetables, and it should be consumed at least 3 hours before sleep. Second one is drink minimum 2 liters of water per day. A lot of people, they ask how much water to drink. They say that drink minimum of 2 liters. maximum whatever the number of amount of fluid you can take, but water 2 liters per day. So water acts as a medium to flush out the metabolic and toxic waste of the body. It helps the metabolism and maintains body temperature also. Third one is exercise 1 hour a day. You can do exercise, you can do yoga, you can do any sort of physical activity like walking, whatever, running, swimming. So basically, it is like 1 hour a day you should be working out. Why? Because exercise improves the mood, it controls the appetite, it boosts up the mood and improves the sleep in short term. In long term, it reduces the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, dementia, depression, and many other form of cancers also. So basically, exercise is very important. And then pray twice a day. So even Mahatma Gandhi said prayer is the key of the morning and bolt of the evening. So when we start our day with in the morning prayer, we always feel blessed. We always should thank, and at the end of the day, we should always thank God for the happy day. Or you can say you should always thank. So prayer helps to de-stress the mind. It charges you with hope and confidence to overcome the challenges in life. So praying is very important. It makes you emotionally and mentally very strong. And spiritually also it uplifts. So that is very important. And fifth one is fast once a week. So when we should fast, you should, in a once in a week, we should just avoid or abstain from eating any sort of food. So we can go on plain water, coconut, or lemon juice. Depending on the requirement, you can practice fruit diet also. If the body doesn't go well with it, you can try to, you are doing very much high physical activity, you can go on fruit also, or water fasting. So fasting gives a rest to the digestive system and helps in detoxification. So when we talk about physiology, the MMR complex, migrating motor, when we eat anything, it goes from the mouth, it goes to the esophagus, then it goes to the stomach, and then goes to the small intestine, large intestine, and through rectum it comes out as a waste. So when we study in the physiology, we say that it is migratory motor complex. Whatever we eat, it keeps on improving. And fasting, usually what happens, it increases that, and it improves the even the migratory, eliminates the waste matter out, which gets stuck in the large intestine, in the pockets of the large intestine. So it helps the body to repair. And it even there has been lot of work on that. And autophagy. So even our cells, when they die off, the what is functional is assimilated by the different our body. And then there has been tremendous work on that. And the scientist Yoshiori from Japan has been given a Nobel Prize for that, on fasting, which is improving the autophagy. So again, it cleans the body's mechanism to heal and clean from inside. And these are the very simple things which helps to improve the maintain the health and stay healthy. Thank you all for joining and listening. Any questions, please?
It was very good, simple. Thank you so much. So much.
Thanks.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a really very intriguing session. Could I just take one or two questions, as there are too many praises and too many questions in the comment section?
Sure.
Sir, somebody has asked, what can be done if vocational dimension of a person is disturbed?
See, we always say that we should enjoy. So, with the new education policy, I have to say that this is a very good thing. But at times we feel that we could have done that. And, the new education policy is giving us that chance that you can shift from one to another. And, when we try to, first of all, we cannot change other person. We should try to bring the change in ourselves. Still, if the things cannot be controlled, definitely you need to change. Otherwise, I don't think it is like try to change yourself, try to bring the changes in ourselves, like thinking, feeling, emotional thing. That is why a lot of people, when they go for counseling or they go for therapy and they perform, like they even join the yoga classes, they start taking the meditation classes also to bringing out the change, because these are the easiest tools we can tackle these problems.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga and all our viewers, I would like to express my gratitude to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering such an informative and intriguing lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
I would
Thank you.
also like to thank Director of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Dr. Ivy Basva Reddy, sir, for being the guiding force behind these kind of programs and taking out time from his busy schedule and joining us today. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for all our technical team and all the viewers for joining us today. Now we will end the session with Shanti Part. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः 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 Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.